Morning everyone. Let's see how it goes today. So I was just checking up on the way back from the school drop-off on an Airbnb that I help a lovely lady called Becky. I help her to turn it around in between clients and to keep it clean. And we hadn't had a client in for a week, so I thought I'd pop in and just check that the flowers hadn't died and that the milk was fresh in the fridge because the clients were arriving today. And she happened to come at the same time. We hadn't coordinated. And we had a lovely discussion. And I'd been telling her previously that me and the dogs, Rupert, the Labrador, and Biscuit, the Terrier Yorkie Cross, we go out for a walk around 5:30, 6 o'clock every morning because we don't have a garden at the moment, so they need to go out. And that was something that I never would have used to have done. Like just getting out of bed at that time of morning, whatever the weather. I know it's summer now, so it's going to be a change when it gets into winter. But it's forming a really, really amazing habit in me. And I told Becky this, and she ended up sharing. I was talking to her about building up my coaching business and about really having faith in people and knowing that everyone has a spark within. And I know it beyond a shadow of a doubt. Every single one of us is born with a fire inside, with a desire in our heart, and that you could argue that the world's problems are because of people, many of us, most of us, who don't allow that to be brought forth. And we create all sorts of excuses and we just don't know. We just don't know what we don't know, do we? So I was talking to her about my passion for people and my love for the truth in every situation. In the Bible it says if something happens that is struggling, that you're struggling to deal with, take it to the throne. Take it to the throne of God, to the throne within, the throne of truth, where you examine it and put your big girl pants on and decide what the nuggets of gold are in that, what you can alchemize out of the pain of being told something you didn't want to hear. And so I would have struggled with having to do that habit, but by the spirit within and the life that flows through me, that habit has been brought forth from me through no desire of my own except to walk every day following the truth. And the truth was that we wanted to get a dog. I knew we had no garden. I had a lot of resistance from other people who don't have faith, and I've really had to be bold in going to the throne about the truth of who I am. Like, can I do this? And the answer was yes, and it doesn't matter what other people think. So I feel like this is a roundabout way of going into my topic today, which is talking to yourself. And it occurs to me, I'm talking to myself right now because I can see myself on the screen. Hi Cyrus, good to see you. And we all need to be seen. And it felt egotistical talking to myself on a live. But that is the person we need to talk to. That is the person. We are the ruler of our own queendom. And if we will seat Christ on the throne in our lives, and the picture of Jesus and what Jesus did for us to show us the way, the truth and the life is very, very powerful. And I really want to encourage you all to not shy away from the mirror, to look in the mirror, to look at all the wrinkles and the grey hair and the glasses that mean that your eyes have now got to the point that they need a bit of extra help. And whatever else it is that you don't want to look at, and I'm really talking about what's within, of course, because I didn't want to look at the fact that I kind of knew that I could make some changes, but it would be difficult getting up in the morning. I've got the children, of course, but there's always a way. And we create, I'm going to call them demons. We create our own demons. We create our own Satan. And there's a great big, very insidious religious movement that wants to put the Satan outside of us, to blame the evil of the world. And yes, when we're creating our own kingdom and when we're using our God-given brain to interact with the intelligent force of life that we call God, our creator, God who loves us, the force of love, when we're interacting using our brain to connect to that, we know when to say no to what isn't right. And it's not about good and evil, it's about right and wrong. You know, as I said yesterday, good and evil is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, where we fight against each other, we fight within ourselves, whereas the tree of life is where we eat the fruit and we learn from every experience, and we create from a place of the Christ instead of the place of the Satan. So we create our own demons to protect ourselves. It's very strange, but it's very human, to protect ourselves from other people's criticism or other people's judgment. But we are our own judge. We are our own critic. We must go back to the throne of Christ and ask him, or her, if you want to call it, wherever you're at in your journey. For me, I was too feminine. I was too passive. My soft heart got squashed, and so I would try and go other people's way instead of my own. But Jesus is the way. And when I had a supernatural experience of Christ, I went to the Bible and was edified to learn that I am saved by grace through faith expressed by love. But then I went to pin it on the religious tree of a God outside me, innocently, and I think that was part of my journey as well. Our Father God knows exactly what we need to learn for what we've chosen to come here for, and everything is a choice. And when it doesn't feel like a choice, we have to yield like the willow. Go and read my poem. We have to yield and know that the strength there is within us, and that if we yield and go within, we can learn what we need to learn from this. How can we know what love is if we don't know what the opposite of it is? And that applies to everything in our lives. So in creating those demons, then we demonize the demons. We hate ourselves or the bits of ourselves, and it's just this self-perpetuating cycle of self-hatred. Well, it was for me. And then I read Psalm 23, and it was like the wind blew outside my window. It was like I could see how the world outside me was all about what was going inside me, and that was the start of a very powerful journey. We're told in Psalm 23, read it. You don't have to be religious or Christian, or it's a beautiful, beautiful picture of salvation. That's what Yeshua means. It means redemption, salvation, rescuer. And we have been given the spirit of life, which rescues us from all situations. And it's all about what we picture is going on in our heads, isn't it? So we create this this picture of badness that's actually a reflection of what we believe about ourselves. But when we prepare a table before us in the presence of our enemies, which is from Psalm 23, we sit down and we dine with our enemies. I sort of fallen into the trap of I think maybe the Christian, and I'm more of a Christian, I suppose, than any other religion if I was going to have to label myself, but I don't label myself anymore. There's a belief that means that you put the table there and the enemy is out in the cold. And no, the enemy sits down on the other side of the table with you. You sit down and you look at the enemy face to face. You look at the demon you've created, and you say, "Hi, come and have a meal with me. Let's talk. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you." And that's something called the Ho'oponopono that I was saying a long time ago. And I realized that I was talking to the God, talking to Christ, and I hadn't had that revelation when I started speaking it. So that's another example of life coming through you, and you being compelled to be or do or say or think certain things that don't seem to be related to anything that's in your conscious mind, but it's the Spirit working through you all the time. And that's why there's a lot of people who talk about surrender. But this is about talking to yourself. I've got so much on my heart. that's coming into my mind to speak out. But that's what I want to say today. If you have painful experiences or painful thoughts that squeeze your heart, your body will tell you, and it's often in the heart, it's anxiety in your belly. One of the first things you can do is breathe. God gave us the spirit of life, and he gave us everything that pertains to life and godliness, to be the image and likeness of God as he created us to be. Breathe that in and allow the body to calm down. Get away from the situation, whatever it is, but look at it, don't hide. The light came to shine in the darkness. The light is the knowledge, the darkness is the ignorance, the unknown. And we mustn't blame ourselves for what we didn't know. We don't know what we don't know. And if you've created a great big beast out of some enemy thinking that's just been a snowball effect in your life, as I have done countless times, the light will shine on it. And when the light shines on it, it exposes it and it disappears, because the darkness can't survive in the light. It's not easy. It's not easy. And you might need someone else to shine the light, and that might be really confronting. But if you allow it to happen and you allow the growth that happens from it, it's a really beautiful flower that will grow. So I hope that's encouraging. I'm just sharing what's happening with me. I was really encouraged to hear Becky tell me that she'd shared in her book club that she was inspired by me getting up at 5:30 every morning to walk the dogs. And I want to own that. I want to say, yeah, yay me. I do that because I love my children and I want to build a life for them. I want to have animals in our life. And I want to live. I want to be awake. So let's wake up, arise and shine. The glory of God is shining on you today, my friend. I love you. Goodbye.